This will truly be the golden age of America. That's what we have to have. This is a magnificent victory for the American people that will allow us to make America great again.
After months of campaigning across the country, it is the final countdown to knowing who will lead the United States for the next 4 years.
It's an election night matchup that seemed unlikely just months ago.
Now it comes down to Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump.
The stage is very much set for Vice President Harris to be able to come and make an acceptance speech if indeed that's the way the night pans out. But nobody here, nobody who's helping set this up, none of her supporters who are starting to arrive really has any idea whether or not that's going to be the case.
This could be one of the closest races in our nation's history. And just this entire cycle is historic. The fact that we have a sitting president that was a candidate, not a candidate, and now we have a former president that could be president again, a vice president. I mean, it is something like the coolest Super Bowl of politics I think we've ever been a part of.
I've got to say that anyone who thinks they know what's going to happen tonight is talking baloney, because I have never seen, I've studied American politics for a long time, I've never seen polls at a national and swing state level that have been so close on election night.
Donald Trump is a couple of miles away from where I'm speaking to you over at his home on Mar-a-Lago, which is on Palm Beach itself. They've taken this convention center, they've invited a bunch of guests. You can see they've put up a big screen and a stage, and everyone's wondering whether or not he will come here later on to claim victory or concede the election.
I think he'll react entirely predictably. He'll try and claim victory as early as possible, even when he's not actually won. And he'll do that to muddy the waters. And I'm sure he will challenge the result if he loses. He's Donald Trump. He doesn't like losing.
Everybody has hypotheticals about what Donald Trump's going to do. Let's just wait to see what Donald Trump does. When the votes are counted, we're very confident that we're going to have the results that are favorable to us. And let's just wait to see it happen.
The margin of effort of the volunteers that Vice President Harris has drawn to her campaign with her hopeful, positive, forward-looking message, I think is why we will win tonight, and she will be our next president.
I think that Kamala Harris has been appealing to people's best instincts, and Donald Trump has usually spent most of his time either banging a microphone or faking having sex with it, which is an extraordinary thing for a candidate to be doing, and speaking in real trash talk. I mean, not where Americans want to go.
It is 7 p.m. here in Washington, midnight in London, and we are off to the races. We have our first poll closures of the night. Now, polls have closed in 6 states, including that all-important swing state of Georgia we were just talking about. Now, voting has also ended in Indiana, Kentucky, South Carolina, Vermont, and Virginia. We have the very first projection that we can bring to you. We are seeing now that the state of Kentucky is projected for Donald Trump. Again, the state of Kentucky projected for Donald Trump with its 8 electoral votes. This is the very first result of the evening. Now we can also bring you the state of Vermont projected for Kamala Harris with its 3 electoral votes. The letters on both sides for the Harris team, for the Trump team, now starting to take up. Let's show you what that looks like. So in the middle there, that's that number, 270. That's what they need to win. Now with those results that have just been projected, we see Donald Trump is at 8 electoral votes. Kamala Harris is at 3 electoral votes. This has just come in now. All right, West Virginia, we can see, is projected for Donald Trump.
So for me, it's very personal. I'm a mom. I raise 5 daughters. And when we sit around the kitchen table, we talk about what affects us daily. We're looking at high gas prices, groceries, daycare, safety. Safety is a very big issue. We're looking at the border that's not secure. So all of these issues really hit all of the women in our family.
I mean, yeah, our nieces and nephews mean the world to us, as do our future children, and the ability to someday have a family of our own. And, Kamala Harris will make that possible, whether it be whatever resources we need.
How are you feeling at this point in the evening?
I feel great. We're looking at what's happening in the battleground states as well as the rest of the country, obviously. Numbers are up, lines are long. The bigger the vote, the better it is for us. And so we feel pretty good. I mean, we're optimistic. You know, right now it's in the hands of the voters. There's not much we can do until we wait and see what the final numbers are. But we're very optimistic.
So we can now bring you a projection. Texas projected for Donald Trump with its 40 electoral votes. Again, Texas projected for Donald Trump. You can see 40 electoral votes. That's a huge piece of the puzzle for Donald Trump. The polls have just closed, and we can see here Delaware projected for Kamala Harris, the state of Delaware, home state of Joe Biden, the president, the current president, with its 3 electoral votes going to Kamala Harris.
We've been hearing about a bomb threat from local officials affecting the Maricopa County Recorder's office just around a corner from the vote counting centre here. He, of course, is one of the top election officials here in Arizona, but they are telling us they don't believe it's credible. It's very much in line with a number of the other hoax bomb threats that have been affecting Arizona and other states too, believed to be, officials say, linked to Russian actors. But of course, they can't be too careful. They're doing a sweep of his office just to make absolute certain.
Well, I think the issue of the border and immigration are always among the thorniest issues in American politics, and they have been for a long time. But if you look at what Donald Trump did when he was president, he purposely separated very young kids, young boys and girls, from their mothers and their fathers. And he's also promised a campaign of mass deportation.
Hispanics are sick of the open borders by the Biden and Harris administration. They're sick and tired of women who are being exploited by the cartel due to the open borders by the Biden-Harris administration. And they want to know where the lost children are from the Biden-Harris administration. It's unacceptable. And I think come today, by the end of the night, they will re-elect President Donald J. Trump.
When we talk about Georgia, I think one thing to note is that we are seeing foreign interference in Georgia. The Secretary of State Raffensperger has said that the bomb threats that have been called into various polling stations has been coming from Russia. And that's actually quite significant to think that foreign actors are engaged and actively trying to disrupt our democracy here.
Now, we can project at this point that, drumroll please, the state of Iowa is projected as a win for Donald Trump. Now, Iowa, of course, whereas we saw that outlier poll over the weekend that had Kamala Harris ahead by 3 percentage points. But at this point in time, Iowa is projected as a win for Donald Trump.
Sarah, how are people feeling there at this point in the evening? Are they nervous? Are they excited?
They've been doing what they can to try and keep the party atmosphere going. The DJ is pumping up the music as the party's filling up, but people are getting more and more anxious.
Well, it's the converse here, because people are getting increasingly excited. They're seeing the numbers on screen. Obviously, in those 7 key swing states, we've got no projections at the moment, but they're seeing the way the numbers are breaking in places like Georgia. They're seeing the closeness of the race in places like Virginia. They're seeing things like North Carolina too, which was a bit of a wobble for the campaign in the last few days, seeing that perhaps that firming up a little bit. So I think you'll see a bit of excitement here growing.
Whether I'm on WhatsApp or whether I'm on iMessage, I'm not getting a single Democrat that's feeling confident.
So is this a...
And that's changed it's got more pronounced in the last hour or so.
We have been looking so closely at these swing states all night. We haven't been able until this point to bring you any of those projections, but we do now have the state of North Carolina coming into us, a projection that we can make at this hour. Here we go. North Carolina projected for Donald Trump.
We are now in a position to project Georgia. Georgia projected there as a win for Donald Trump.
Honestly, this is not the night that we wanted. I myself, I raised millions of dollars for the campaign, and there are a lot of donors here as well. We came in with high expectations, and once again, the polls are wrong, just like they were wrong in 2016 and 2020. Ultimately, the pollsters did not correct for that Trump polling error that keeps happening time and time again.
Just about everybody has left, and they left very, very quickly after one of the campaign chairs, Cedric Richmond, came out onto that stage behind me, which of course had been prepped ready for Kamala Harris to make a victory speech if she had won, and instead he came out and said it's not over yet, there are still votes to be counted, there are still states to be called, but he said you will not hear from the vice president tonight. They haven't conceded defeat, but they all but have in the way that they've closed down this event tonight.
The pictures you're seeing on your screen right now are of Donald Trump's campaign HQ in Florida. Thousands of people gathering there. We've seen members of his close family, his advisors, his campaign staff. The stage is set, and we're expecting Donald Trump, who's arrived, we think, by cavalcade in the last few minutes, to address those crowds in the next few minutes.
Just look at that split screen again for our viewers in the UK who are waking up. That, on the left side of your screen, is the joyous, jubilant crowd of Donald Trump campaign headquarters. On the right, that was the Harris campaign headquarters, where there was a massive crowd earlier in the evening.
We have a major projection to bring to you now, a really, really huge one. We can project Pennsylvania for Donald Trump and the 19 electoral votes.
Oh, there he is, Donald Trump. Donald Trump with his wife, Melania, his son, Barron, as you see there. This is the moment everyone in campaign headquarters was waiting for. Donald Trump on a truly extraordinary night for him and his campaign.
Frankly, this was, I believe, the greatest political movement of all time. There's never been anything like this in this country, and maybe beyond. And now it's going to reach a new level of importance because we're going to help our country heal. We're going to help our country heal. We have a country that needs help, and it needs help very badly. We overcame obstacles that nobody thought possible, and it is now clear that we've achieved the most incredible political thing. Look what happened. Is this crazy? I want to thank the American people for the extraordinary honor of being elected your 47th president and your 45th president. This will truly be the golden age of America. That's what we have to have. This is a magnificent victory for the American people that will allow us to make America great again. America's future will be bigger, better, bolder, richer, safer, and stronger than it has ever been before. God bless you, and God bless America. Thank you very much. Thank you.
He claimed victory, of course, a couple of hours ago, but now it is official with that projected win for Donald Trump. We've been waiting on votes coming to us from Wisconsin. We have them now. That's put him over the top. Donald Trump, America's 47th president, and of course, America's 45th president as well.
Mr. Speaker, can I begin by congratulating President-elect Trump on his historic election victory. As the closest of allies, the UK and US will continue to work together to protect our shared values of freedom and democracy.
The outcome of this election is not what we wanted, not what we fought for, not what we voted for, but hear me when I say, the light of America's promise will always burn bright. Earlier today, I spoke with President-elect Trump and congratulated him on his victory. I also told him that we will help him and his team with their transition, and that we will engage in a peaceful transfer of power. A fight for the ideals at the heart of our nation. That is a fight I will never give up. I thank you all. May God bless you, and may God bless the United States of America. I thank you all.